Hello and welcome this morning. I apologize for being late. My alarm just did not go off. So my pets were like, "What is going on?" So welcome this morning to the Rise and Shine morning practice. This is the 5:30 morning practice, and in this practice, we are taking some experience of challenge, and we are exercising our nervous system to bring the experience of challenge through our body into a state of integration. We are working from a journal that you can either participate from, or get from Amazon, or you can get the link of the actual journal page in the description box below this video. And you can grab the PDF of that. You don't have to purchase it right off the bat. If you want to join in and just notice if this practice is something that is for you, you can grab it right there. So welcome this morning. Let's go ahead and walk through. We're in the middle of a series right now, or actually maybe more towards the end of the series. We're in session number 34 of our victimization, reconciling victimization series. And for those of you who've been here and a part of this for a while, it's helpful today to take a moment to notice, how is that victimization story? How do you see it now compared to when we first began? I'm going to take a moment and just consider that. And for those of you who may be new this morning, think of some aspect in your life where you have felt victimized, and just take a moment to let that come into your awareness, that experience. And if you're working off a worksheet, we want to go ahead and write that experience in the line for the challenge I'm facing today. We want to put that into that line. And then we want to take a moment to notice we're going to arrive together in the place where we are seated. And so how we do that with our nervous system is to first help our brain to recognize where are we seated and what are the points of contact that we can feel. So for me, I feel my left elbow. I feel my lower right part of my lower back. I feel my legs, both of my legs connected to the seat. So you're noticing the place where you feel the most connected to the seat, and then you want to notice which one feels the most connected. And as you notice that point of greatest connection, greatest support, we want to draw it on our body diagram. I'm going to draw like the shape of that connection. It's like the foot, we call it the footprint of that connection. I want to write that body part down. we're taking time for our body to rest into that. So I can have my brain's recognition of that area, but the somatic work is to move deeper into the soma, the part of your body, and allow the somatic part of your body, allow your body to move through its somatic integrative process, which is like a parachute coming down. Think of sympathetic as up, that's the raw experience coming in, and the somatic experience is the parachute coming back down. The down part is me receiving what the experience, the initial experience I see. So the first experience we're taking in is how are you supported by your seat? And as you recognize that body part, is that body part able to actually rest into that living support? That requires about a minute to 2 minutes to feel the body organically go through its process of integration and to receive. You may notice that you might be slightly hovering above that way that your body is supported, and what we want to be able to do is breathe to that area, and as we exhale out, allow our body to rest down into the way that we're supported. And as we are noticing that, then we're a little deeper in receiving that support, and we can feel a little more clearly what is the quality of that support. This is the intimacy part of our relationship with the aliveness of how the divine is supporting us. So as I'm resting deeper, I can see more detail. I'm aware of more of what the divine is providing for me. So you want to be able to notice what is that quality of support. What does it feel like to be held in that way? And we're saying this experience belongs to me. You're again letting your brain recognize that quality of experience, and then you're allowing your body to rest into that quality of experience. This experience belongs to me. Notice what begins to change in the footprint of how you're held. And you want to draw that onto the body diagram, and you want to write it into your journal. What else do you become aware of as you're resting into the way that you're supported? And from a place of receiving that support, turning side to side, we're trying to make as much room as we can for the experience of this support to be received by our body. And then from this place, we want to notice that the experience that you began with in your journey of how you felt victimized, as you go back and you look, I'm in a different journal since when we started that. If you go back and you look at that, or if you're new with us and you're, again, just thinking about some way that you've been victimized, you want to notice how it feels now compared to like how your perspective of that has changed now. And we're noticing what has remained the same and what has changed about how you perceive it. For me, that's so funny because nothing has remained the same connected to that. So we're being led to notice um, the answer to this question. Is there any part of this experience, for those of you who've been with the whole practice, or for those of you who might be new and you're still sitting here, maybe kind of going, "What's going on?" Think of a way in which you have felt victimized by a circumstance, and ask yourself: is there any part of that circumstance that still does not feel supported? Is there any part of that circumstance that still, or even more specifically, that still has not felt acknowledged, supported, and rested? So think about these three steps: acknowledged, supported, and rested. Is there any part so acknowledged, when you look at the diagram or the worksheet where we're working, you can go into the section of my mind sees and thinks about this challenge like. Write acknowledge next to that. How do we acknowledge the circumstance has happened? And how does it feel different now, acknowledging that after we've gone through this series versus the way we may have spoken about it in the past? How do you see it now differently? This is very interesting. So for me, I see it differently, and this is just organically seeing it differently. Um, I can fully see myself going through these experiences, and somehow it's like I see the experience, I see myself having gone through the experience. My awareness is really only able to see me and what it felt like for me to go through it, rather than the stories of everybody else involved, all the other stuff, all the other ways in which I would talk about that. There's actually more of a lightness, and I see myself. And when the invitation is for us to look at, is it acknowledged? Is it supported? And is it rested? Are you acknowledged? Are you supported? And are you rested? I could see I can go a little bit further with the direct support and the gift of rest for that part of myself. But I already see it very differently versus me in the middle of this circumstance and all the dynamics. I can actually see myself there. And that's after 34 days of sitting with all these different angles of how we experience being victimized by something. So I'm interested to hear what you experience or see, both if you're live and also if you're on the replay, as you're looking back at the circumstances. I can look back at my past journal pages and even just how much my capacity has grown over the last 30, I guess it's been just over a little bit of a month, which is remarkable. 34 days of gently taking care of each different little way that this shows up. And so we're just noticing that. So as I notice myself and I go back to one of these primary ways in which I felt victimized, notice how your mind sees that, how your mind sees yourself now. You're taking a moment to write down how your mind sees it and you're holding it. So one of the other participants is saying, initially, I felt there was no room for me. Now I feel all of it was actually for me. I know, it's weird. And if we slow it down and we just really even looking and you're holding and you're kind of seeing yourself in it, and what is the support and the rest? What is the support and the rest that you can offer that part of yourself now today? It's like I can feel there's some parts of this that I've taken in over this past uh, 34 sessions with this, but there's also some parts that I still had not yet acknowledged and supported and brought into rest. I can see more clearly. Are you able to also see that there's some parts that still are needing us to put our arm around that and bring it back into what the quality of support is today? Hmm. When you notice how you speak about it, or how maybe others have spoken about it, this whole um, acknowledgement, the acknowledgement. How does my speech about this? How do I initially speak about it, and then as we hold that, we want to be able to experience how does the divine support us in speaking about it. So let's take a moment and first just notice how we do it. How do I speak about it when I'm acknowledging this circumstance has happened or these types of circumstances have happened through me, to me throughout my life? want to take a moment to notice what was my impulse to behave as I navigated through that. And as you're looking at your behavior and you're going back to acknowledged, supported, and rested, and you're looking at the trajectory of your life experience, And what are the emotions and the sensations that come up as you're facing into that? Excuse my sniffling. This is really quite wild because being able to really feel throughout the trajectory, like my brain is kind of going to all these different circumstances where it's like the acknowledgement wasn't able to be there because our whole world is really built on just keep behaving the right way versus keep versus being able to trust that there is time and space to care for what has been what has challenged us, and the divine is giving us the medicine or the power or the comfort to care for the ways in which we have been um, overwhelmed or harmed or stressed or traumatized or whatever it is, hurt. But we're many times coming from this frame of trying to get it right rather than being with what is. Those are two very different circumstances. Trying to get it right rather than being with what is. When I look back and I see myself and then whoever else may have been involved with different circumstances in my life, the intentions were either survival or, sorry, I'm just getting kind of cold, survival on the part of whoever I'm with, or trying to bring themselves into a state of comfort with whoever I was with or whatever circumstances happened, or just the circumstances were overwhelming and there was not any capacity for there to be the individuals that I'm with to connect to their own support or myself to even know how to do that. And so if that first fundamental thing is not happening, then we're like scrambling for this, trying to find that support from somebody else, trying to find the acknowledgement from somebody else, trying to find that connection from somebody else, trying to have ourselves validated through behavior in someone else. Notice what stands out this morning. Sorry, I'm shifting all around here. I'm trying to get this blanket around me. If we put a frame over all the experiences that we have faced into, and we're noticing that was the experience, was what I was feeling acknowledged, and also what they were feeling, was that acknowledged? Was it supported? Was it rested? if we're not receiving this living support that the divine is giving us, we're all unsettled to some extent and trying to run out and get it in the world, which it'll never come from the world in this eternal way that it comes from the divine. When I'm receiving it from the divine and I'm receiving it right where I'm seated, it's eternally being provided to me. So it feels complete. It makes my nervous system feel more whole. And as you look back over your month and 4 days of what has changed for you and how your system has felt um, reorganized, there's going to be things that have changed and have helped you to stand more fully in being cared for in the circumstances that you're going through, but not necessarily needing anybody else to change, because as you change and you receive this, a whole bunch begins to change. What do you notice, other participant who's with me? What do you feel um, being revealed to you when we're taking this? Is it acknowledged? Is it supported? Is it rested? Have you been rested? That's interesting. The quality of support this morning is repairing, like RE hyphen pairing. Yeah. I'm really amazed by this because when we're able, I think also when we're able to feel, as I am able to feel, the support the divine has for me, and as I know I'm standing on this, this is here for everybody to feel this, to begin to rest into this. And I've rested into this, acknowledged and rested into this support like hundreds of thousands of times over the last decade, but I didn't have it before. And so I can see it takes quite a while of really resting into that to feel safe enough to then be able to see that the people around me also are not receiving that. And if there is some type of challenge or some type of trauma or overwhelm or stress that is occurring, it is because that person is not receiving how they are supported. And so it goes back to this very fundamental first, this is the most important thing, because if I feel this, if my nervous system is receiving this, it changes how I'm reacting in the moment, and it lets me see the open doors and choices that I can make that are allowing me to continually experience support. It's really interesting. It's very, very interesting because it's not going to be a cognitive change that is going to really help us to move differently through this world. It's going to be a receiving of this living support and helping others to receive that is right here. And then how that begins to reorganize our systems and reorganize how we understand ourselves and others, that's the whole point. That's a somatic thing that requires us to sit down and offer this to ourselves in a very different way, and to radically rest first so that the nervous system has time to change into being able to receive this support. And it changes too my perspective of how much time I want to invest in this process and in this work. How much time am I going to make for my current self and all of my past selves to really slow down and take this in? When we say roughly the normal practices are around 2.5 hours a day, I feel like I could do more throughout the day. Yesterday I was able to do more, that I could feel, okay, I went in this direction, and I could feel I was operating up here and way, way ahead of myself. And as I laid down and offered that rest as a response to that thing that happened, I could feel how far out. I'm like, I've never really paused in the moment and gone right to rest, but I could feel how far out I had gotten from that support. And so really this invitation is, how many times can I radically keep coming back in and really feeling, where did I go? And gathering that part of myself back into this acknowledgement, support, and rest, so that I can come back into the stable, come back to the starting point, and then move from there in a very, very different way. I know we're coming to the end of our time here together, but and today's class might feel a little all over the place. Maybe, maybe not. If you're new to this, it might feel like, what is she even talking about? But for those of you who have gone through this series, notice what is your takeaway from this morning's time, as you really are asking yourself the acknowledgement, the support, and the rest. You can see very clearly there has been such a huge shift, and there are still parts that are needing the rest and support. Yeah. For me, I can see too, it's like all of the power lies in our first ability to feel this. If I can't feel the living support of the Creator, and the person around me can't feel that, we are scrambling. So being able to make that the priority for every circumstance is imperative. We're right now at 55 minutes or 56 minutes of this class. I'm going to spend an extra 10 minutes right now going back through and holding the lines of the emotional sensory core, the experiences that we did go through, so that we can experience what is the divine saying back. So I just want to make space for that, because I know some of the participants were feeling like they didn't have that time to turn to God and ask, what is God's insight for this? So that goes into line number 3. So I'm going to specifically do that. If you're coming through, if you're going to come back, if you need to go but you need to come back on the replay, you're going to be at 56 minutes and 30 seconds. But right now I'm going to go ahead and just go through that. So go back to your mind. And how does your mind see it? You want to be naming that. I'm sorry, my nose is really... You want to be holding how your mind sees it. And then you want to write down whatever response it is you feel. Wow. And then how you speak about it. we need to slow it way down because you can feel in yourself the alignment, or I'm sorry, the aliveness when you think about these different circumstances and how they show up. You can feel the somatic aliveness underneath it. So it's the energetic or the physiological response. And what we want to do is we're receiving that quality of support and we're making a lot of room for what shows up. So for me, as I feel it, I feel I want to throw up. I feel I have like nausea come in or pain come in. And I can really slowly just make room for that. So funny, this morning I woke up and my alarm didn't even go off, but my pets were like, by 5:30, they're like, we think you probably need to be up. They were laying on top of me. And I was sleeping all twisted and I had a migraine, like right when I woke up, I thought I was going to puke. And it's so interesting though, because sitting with this, as I make room for that, it's changing that so much. Like that very familiar sense of feeling like I have to rush, sense of feeling like I was maybe doing it wrong, sense of having pressure in my head, not able to see, like I did not rush or do that, I was just caring for it. And even here, I can still feel part of that. And if I just stay very slow and acknowledge that wasn't my normal routine this morning, that feels a little misaligned, and just make room for it and let it meet the support, I stay out of the story. And I go straight to caring for it and letting that part of me just rest. And then you're holding your behavior. And so as you're holding space for each of those experiences and receiving what God is offering you, what the divine is offering you through that, notice, and you're asking, what do you want me to what is my main takeaway for today? And so you're noticing as you are feeling these different areas that come up, these different patches of intensity, through our movement, through our gentle breath, we can be bringing these together very slowly. I can be bringing the parts of myself that have been not acknowledged or supported right into this connection of this living support. And this morning's class is this invitation to be naming it, but then also in your body feeling it. So the change is going to occur in my physiology. The change occurs in my pace of movement, in my intensity of movement, in my capacity for me to hold an open movement and allow that support to filtrate itself and infiltrate itself into the part where I'm restricted. And so and let it meet and let myself be changed by it. And then going to the next place and feeling, what do I notice there? What is the emotions that I feel? What are the sensations I feel? As we do it here in this practice this morning, noticing what I'm thinking, what I'm seeing, how I'm speaking, how I'm behaving, how I'm breathing, and being able to slow down enough for that to be met by, Tula, stop. Come here, stop. Allowing that to be met by the divine, way that the divine is supporting me, that's what begins to change my whole life, because I'm receiving what God is giving me right through my own body. Today's more of an advanced class. It would make sense if you, excuse me, come on. It would make sense if you have been doing this somatic work for a while to even be able to feel that, or maybe not. Maybe you can just jump in and feel it right away. If it's confusing, it would make sense, and so I would go back to some of the earlier classes from there, or try a rest practice. But for those of you who've been a part of this series throughout, notice your takeaway. Notice what you are able to feel this morning in a new way. To me, what stands out is that this is the most radical response to all of the overwhelm and the stuff that is occurring in the world right now. That truly God is telling us that there is space for us to stop right now, wherever we are, connect to how we are supported, acknowledge what we are feeling, what we are experiencing, what is happening, and allow it to be met, rather than going off into the story about all that, but allow it to be met right here and held until it can find rest within us. That's very radical. That's not Pollyanna thinking. It's not whatever. It is an active allowing yourself to be held and rested and renewed right in the moment. These somatic practices will teach you how to do that, and everybody can do this if you choose it and you make the time and you commit to strength training that capacity. So it is a remarkable gift. I thank you all for being here today, and one of the participants saying, yeah, if I slow down enough, it is possible to take in both the challenge and the support, because they belong together. Yeah. They belong together. These challenges don't belong unheld, unacknowledged, pushing us around to increase that intensity to where we don't feel supported anywhere and nothing feels right. And the volume of what is coming up in this world, the injustice and the incapacity to be connected to each other, the only way that's going to change is as we do that within ourselves. And for me, this work does that. I look forward to seeing you guys when it suits your schedule next. I have other things that were scheduled for the day, but I will, before the end of the day, get the other recordings up. My cell phone timer didn't go off this morning, so for whatever reason, that's how it flowed today, and we'll make it up and it'll be online. And also tomorrow morning is our overflow practice. I'm trying to figure out if we're going to do that live on here or if we're going to do it through the other links. I'm still trying to be led on that, so I'll let you guys know by the end of the day what's going to happen with all that. I hope you have a good day, and I will talk to you soon. I give great thanks to my living Jesus Christ, who leads me on this path. The gift of this path and the gift of what Jesus came here to show us, to reveal how easy and simple this is, this gift of God, is the most remarkable gift we can all receive, because it is an eternal gift. So I say thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, and thank you, Holy Spirit, for this peace that surpasses all understanding. See you guys when it suits your schedule next. Take care.